Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiffy's Palette. I'm George. I'm Whiffy Penguin. I'm the player. Today we're not actually playing Magic. We're recapping Magic. We're doing a good old-fashioned tournament report. And we are doing it for the Duel for Duels put on by Excalibur events. Um, this was labeled as a 10 duel land event where the winners would get to Rochester draft the dual lands for top eight. Unfortunately, there were only 31 players. Bad time to be a tournament organizer. Um, we played Welder Cam. There'll be a link to the list in the description if you don't want to look at this tiny photo. This photo for ants. This is at the Center for Kids Who Can't Read So Good. Um, but it's this big. It's this big. So we played this event, and there were 31 players, 5 rounds. I was kind of disappointed. The pricing is whatever. They ended up trying to do the best they can, where the organizer, before we started round one, the organizer let us know that um, dual lands were guaranteed at 64 players. We had less than half of 64 players, and that what they would do is they would divide 64 by the entry fee and then multiply that by the participants, which is 31, and put it all into the prize pool. And the dual lands were put into the Excalibur events prize wall with Excalibur event fun buck prices. Underground Sea, I think, was 17,000 fun bucks. And they said something. I believe they said that every 100 fun bucks was a $5 cash value. So I don't know. Maybe that's not right. Maybe that is. I did not math out the price of the dual lands to the fun bucks. They said that the dual lands were only available to the Legacy Duel for Duels event for today, Saturday, August 15th, when I'm recording this at like 11 o'clock at night. And they said that it would only be available for the top eight competitors. They could, you know, first place would get first choice. If they didn't have enough fun bucks to pick up a specific dual land, they could pay the cash equivalent in exchange. So I thought it was a really good way to handle this event, and Excalibur events took a bath on this. They had a 25K CDH event that there did not look like there were a lot of players in the CDH event. There was also a Riftbound event. Um, we had a 31 player event for it's a 5K essentially, right? It's a 5K. Dual lands are about $5,000. Um, and then there there was a 4 player vintage warm up event because they do have a vintage 5K tomorrow. And some of my buddies are gonna go do that. You know them, you love them, the Eternal Witnesses. Dan Atkins and Mapson, I know for sure, are going to be doing the vintage 5K. They were excited about it, chatting about it. But I had a great time, even though, as you'll see, I didn't do so great. I did have a good time. We got to the event started at 12. I left my house at 9:30, woke up at 8, went to bed pretty early the night before, packed myself some healthy snacks and some not so healthy snacks, but I had an apple and I had almonds, couple of granola bars, a roll, big bottle of water, and then I ate a big breakfast when I woke up this morning. And we left for the event. I brought a small handful of cards to sell. There's a Sheldred, which I bought and sold a couple of times. I don't think I'm actually ever going to play with it. Pretty cool though that no matter where we are in time, that card is $65 price point. I bought it for 65, I sold it for 65. I bought it for 65, I sold it for 65 again. It's kind of cool. And then I sold off a bunch of modern stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to modern, and if for some reason I do decide I need to be a modern player, I can, I don't know, maybe sell a City of Traders and buy a deck. I can't imagine I wouldn't play something that I have the guts for, though, like Affinity. I've got the Mox Opals, I've got most of the deck. I did sell some Claws of Gix today that like I bought for Modern Affinity and never actually played. Neither here nor there. Um, we went early, we sold some cards, we chatted with people we know, we chatted with people we don't know. It was cool. And then we got to the event, and I told you the event organizer let us know about what the prize payout was going to be, and then we started playing. So let's get on into it. We'll see for round one. All right, we're here for round one. We played against one Nick DeJean, someone that plays at my local shop. Play against him every now and then. Pretty good Magic player. Had a good read that he was going to be on colorless, and lo and behold, he was. Um, Game one was a little rough. We mulliganed two non-functional hands into like a serviceable five. I don't exactly recall what we had going on, but Nick was on the play and he led with a turn one Ancient Tomb into Grim Monolith into a Voltaic Key into the One Ring. Pretty cool. And then turn two, we played a card. Pretty cool. I don't know. I think I played a land. Maybe I played a Loki. I'm not sure. Uh, Turn three, he drew a bunch of cards, didn't really do anything. Then turn four, he played an Extinguisher Battleship. Oh, no, 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 that was game three. Uh, Turn four in this game, he played an Ugin, and I wrapped it up. For game two, we sideboarded. I got a sideboarding guide from one of the guys in the Discord, Wits End. Thank you, pal. Slightly different. I think we were 73 for 75 with cards we were playing. He had two different cards in the sideboard than I did. But it was based off Harry Hackett's sideboard guide, looked like very similar, very good vibe. I don't think that you should one for one a sideboard guide because opponents are people and they have their own ability to make decisions. But I do think it is important to get a frame of reference for how we should be sideboarding. And so we used our sideboard guide. I think it was pretty good. I like to write them out. I did write one out on last night, folded it up nice and neat into a little book, put it in my deck box so that I could, reference it, see how many I'm supposed to take in and out. Six, seven, eight. Eight's a little much. We're supposed to be sideboarding with a light touch. I still think I sideboard a little heavy, but I was using the heuristics of the two different guides. At any rate, for game two, we opened up a banger and turn one Goblin Welder, turn two infinite mana with a Seat of the Synod in play, and then the Goblin Engineer to put the Sewer Cam in the graveyard with two more baubles. So we had eight redraws, and Nick wrapped it up. Then for game three, we both had a slower start. However, with Nick's slow start, he had a turn one Needle in the blind for Welder. Then he had a turn two Flute. Then he had a Karn, which very slowly locked me out. Couldn't really do anything into it. We got to like, I want to say turn five or six, and his Karn got a Battleship Extinguisher, which killed my Goblin Welder and my Emery, which were both locked under his hate artifacts. And then over the next two turns, he was able to use Karn to. There's a really cool play where he had two keys. He turned his Trinisphere into a creature and then untapped it, stationed it again to turn the battleship's extinguisher into a 10/10, then untapped it with the ring to attack me for 13 and kill me. It is unfortunate. I do feel like that game three, even though he had these guys, these hate pieces, I feel like it was still pretty close. I think that I may have lost the game on turn one when I sequenced. I Had a Mox Opal start that involved a skateboard and a bauble and an opal. And I had a volcanic island and I had an Urza Saga. And I led with volcanic island, um, doing the skateboard, getting Goblin Welder into play. And I think that maybe I should have led with the Urza Saga so that I could be a Saga gamer. Now, he did have a turn two Disruptor Flute, so he probably could have named the Urza Saga instead of the Emery that he ended up naming. But perhaps in that timeline, I wouldn't have been able to make a construct because he would have untapped and played the flute. But perhaps in that timeline, I could have gotten a chromatic star to go with my Emery. I'm not sure. It would have been an extra redraw. The Karn did come down pretty close after and would have stopped me from being able to do that. So I'm not sure. But we ended up losing 1-2. Felt really close. Felt like the RNG gods were not quite on my side for game one. And for game three, it's possible I missequenced, and it's possible that Nick is just really strong player and knew how to sequence through the round better than I did. All right, we'll see you for round two. Are you tired of sucking? Do you want to pay to win? Use my code and get a 40% kickback after your third month of renting and winning. Be a winner. Use Mana Traders. All right, we're back for round two. This time we played against Anthony, who is another alternate universes regular. New though. Anthony's not been there too many times. I wasn't 100% sure what he was playing, but I was pretty sure that it was a Lorentel. I played a turn one Goblin Welder. He played a Prismatic Vista. Then on turn two, I killed him. It did involve using Skateboard, which he sacrificed the Vista for to get a forest. I don't know why he got a forest and not an island. He probably should have got the island because the Vista and the forest made me think of a Lauren, which made me remember that he had played a Laurentel at the LGS. Um, game two, I play a turn one Goblin Welder again. Um, and I think I've got two Emerys in my hand. I might be, no, that was game three. No, I had a Goblin Engineer in my hand. I had a Goblin Engineer in my hand. He plays a Show and Tell, which lets me put the Goblin Engineer into play, which puts Sewer Cam in my graveyard. I did draw it up that way. I thought, if he Show and Tells, I can do the combo. I had a Mox Opal and a couple of baubles, I think, as well. Getting the Goblin Welder through Force of Will meant that I was pretty insulated against Show and Tell, because then I wouldn't have to cast the Goblin Engineer to get the combo piece rolling. Atraxa comes in, flips over a Lotus Petal and a Hydroblast. Womp womp. He Hydroblasts my Goblin Welder. I cannot infinite combo him on my turn two. And then on turn three, he puts an Aloran into play and wins with Azarak. Okay, tough beats, but you know, we're drag racing. It's Legacy in 2026, and we are winning the game on turn two and three. For game three, play another turn one Welder. You can't stop it. I didn't mulligan this hand. I thought about it, but it had a Welder, it had two Emerys, and it had 1-0. So the Emerys were going to be slow. Um, and I believe it had a sewer cam in my hand. So no, it didn't have a sewer cam. It had maybe some engineers or something. The point is that I needed some help. Maybe it was just like a bauble. Um, on turn two, I play the Emery and I put four not artifacts into my graveyard. Not great. On his turn two, he plays Show and Tell. Okay. I put in my second Emery, and the second Emery mills both a Legion Extruder and a Surveillance Cam. And now I have a 0 in play. Okay. things are looking up. He put an omniscience into play. Okay, 4, 5. I had a spell pierce in my hand too that I did not leave up. Fun fact, fun information. Um, so he plays the omniscience, and then he plays an Aloran, and then he plays a second Aloran. I don't think he should have played the second Aloran, and then he plays Acererak. Um, this is where I decide to try and respond by activating the Goblin Welder to start the loop. He brainstorms and finds a Fairy Macabre to stuff me and kill me. And he let me know that we talked after the game, and he did let me know that the Fairy Macabre came off the brainstorm. And I shared that I had a Spell Pierce in my hand, and I was a little worried about a show and tell, but I also thought that the chances of me being able to win went up pretty high if I could get the Emery going. And I didn't draw another zero, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to just pass and not do anything. His turn two, chances are maybe he doesn't have the show and tell. He wasn't showing enough for a Lauren either. But he let me know that the card that wasn't Brainstorm in his hand, the last card in his hand was Force of Will. So he was all rolled up. He had the Force of Will Brainstorm to stop Spell Pierce on Show and Tell, and then he would have got me. Um, because I wouldn't have played the first Emery, and so the Show and Tell Emery would have put in the four non-artifacts, and then the Aloran Acererak combo got me, and Anthony was a great opponent, and he beat me, and I was sad because now I'm 0-2 in this event that I had been very excited for. Found this awesome deck. I put in some practice. I got help figuring things out. 0-2 start. 31 players, 5 rounds. 0-2 start is not making top eight. Um, however, we're here to practice in paper. We've got BCDL 1 week away from this event. Uh, I will probably actively be playing in the event if you guys watch this as soon as it comes out on Saturday the 22nd. I'm not sure. Today's the 15th. But we'll see you for round number 3. Bye. All right, we're back for round 3 this time, playing against Brandon on Sneak and Show. Now, while I was playing round 2 against Anthony on Show and Tell, on a Lauren Tell, I saw my opponent playing against another Welder Cam deck. We actually sat next to each other again in round 5. Um, no, round 4. I'm sorry, not round 5. We sat together. It was sat next to each other in round 4 as well. So I knew he was on Sneak and Show. This is the only person in this 5 round event that I did not know already when I sat down to play them. I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm at a local event and it was not very heavily populated, and it we weren't even there for the main event. We weren't playing CDH, so checks out that it's mostly going to be locals. Um, Game one, my opponent plays turn one stock up and play a Loki, a Welder, a Bauble, a Mopal, and a Petal, and I rip through my deck with Loki activations. Um, I believe he went for another show and tell. No, it was sneak attack. Um, Around turn 4 or 5, and I was able to use Sewer Valence Cam to blank Emrakul, tapping it down after it was sneak attacked in, and Atraxa came in. I got another turn unmolested with Loki, and then we found the win on turn 6, I think. Um, Game 2, I played a Welder off of a Plateau. I also had a Mopal, a Flute, a Star, an Engineer, and a Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Um, I draw another mana source and I get the Engineer into play, but I don't have an artifact to go with Wait, no. What happens here? I have the Mopal in play, and I have the engineer, yes, and I have the engineer for sewer cam. Um, no, that can't be right. I'm not exactly sure what happened at the beginning of this game. I do know that he got an Atraxa into play, which found a Brotherhood's End, and a Lotus Petal. He cast it and killed both of my goblins. And I was very sad. And then I think he killed me one or two turns later after attacking. Kills my goblins. Oh, and then I did draw a welder. I try to win the next turn. My opponent abrades my artifact instead of my goblin welder to break up the loop. No problem. Um, and then I draw another goblin welder. Oh no, I don't draw another one. He destroyed the artifact instead of the welder. And then I go for the combo a second time with the welder that somehow survived abrade. And he abrades my artifact again. Um, okay, slightly frustrating. And then he kills me with the Atraxa, and I am sad. Then for game three, he mulliganed to five and didn't keep a land. I didn't know he didn't keep a land. On my turn one, I played, I think, five of my seven cards. Um, the one that I didn't play was a Spell Pierce. Turns out that his play for the game was Lotus Petal into Brainstorm, hoping to find a land. He did find the land, but he was on such low resources, and I was able to get the Welder Cam combo going, I think, on turn three to lock up my first win of the event. Let's go. We'll see you for round four. All right, so we're back for round four with Sagir, who I know, but I've never played. I played against his husband Andy a couple of times. Real nice people, like them a lot. Um, and we had a great match against Izzet Delver. For game one, I did not know what he was. I had no idea what he was playing. And I kept a hand with a Goblin Welder that is really bad if I don't untap with Goblin Welder. Unfortunately, he Force of Wills my Goblin Welder. It's okay. Um, and then I never hit a land drop for the rest of the game. He beats me down with Darcy, and then I think there is eventually a Murktide Regent to end the game a couple of turns earlier than the Dragon's Rage Channeler would. For game two, sideboard, this is. I was feeling really good about this matchup, even punting game one away so hard. Um, this is a really good matchup for the Welder Cam deck, and I might choose to play it if I could just pick my deck. It might just be this deck, that I would choose to play against. For game two, uh, play turn one land. He plays a Darcy. I extruder it. Doesn't get dazed. Awesome. Kill his guy. We play a slow game where I eventually get two engineers and an Agatha's Soul Cauldron to turn um, a golem into a Goblin Welder and win the game after I got him down to just one resource in his hand. He was tapped out. He only had one card in his hand, and I was able to thread the needle while pressuring him with some junky creatures and the two Goblin Engineers flipping around stuff, doing fun, slow sewer cam combos. For game three, I kept the slow hand with four lands in it, and I think I think the way I sequenced this game is probably the best game I had in the event today. I think back about maybe I missequenced against Nick in game three with the land that I chose, and I'm really happy with the way that I played this specific game. I had two volcanic islands, an Urza Saga, and a fetch land in my hand that I kept. And then a Loki, an engineer, and an Emery. Turn one, I play a fetch land and I don't crack it. And at the end of his turn, I agonize. I knew what I was doing, but I agonized over if I should get a mountain or a volcanic island. And I decided to get volcanic island. I knew that I just wanted volcanic island instead of mountain because I had two more volcanics and an Urza Saga. And if for some reason he is gonna wasteland my volcanic instead of my saga, we're great. And then turn two, I draw. I'm not exactly sure what I drew, but I play a Loki and pass over to him with the Urza Saga. He must have played a Wasteland on his turn two, which is why I decided to go for Volcanic Island in his face-up Wasteland. And then I played the Urza Saga and Loki. He dazed my Loki, and he has a Darcy in play, I think. He dazes my Loki, and then no, he doesn't have anything in play. There's his he has a drag. He has a Corey Steelcutter. That's what he did on his second turn. He played a Wasteland and tapped it for Corey Steelcutter. And then I played the song and dance of the should I get a mountain or should I get a volcanic island? Ultimately getting the volcanic because I was land heavy in my hand. And then I played the saga hoping to stunt him. Um, and then the Loki. He dazed my Loki and then untapped and played a second Wasteland and double Wastelanded me, where he had a Corey Steelcutter and a Volcanic in his hand that I knew about. And now I have nothing in play. And I said, oh, well, I don't think that was a good play. I untapped and I think I played a Goblin Welder off of one of the two Volcanics I had. Um, we go for a couple of turns where he is not able to double spell. I think it's another two turns where he can't double spell. And then he meltdowns for one, but at this point, the meltdown is hitting. So I have a Mox Opal, a Lotus Petal, a Skateboard, and a Sewer Cam in play, I believe. And then a Emery, maybe it wasn't a Welder I played, and an Emery. And I'm able to maybe I didn't have the skateboard. It was just the sewer cam and the mana rocks. At any rate, I'm able to float blue mana and then play the sewer cam with Emery after it get melted down. And I think then I untapped and killed him. And life was good, and we rejoiced because now we are two and two. We are even, 50%. And there is a very outside shot that we could get top beat. Uh, Spoiler alert, there wasn't. All right. All right. We're back for the last round, round five, against my friend Josh Carroll, who also works at my LGS Alternate Universes. So we're 4 for 5 of playing people that I see on a regular basis. Um, Josh is playing a mono white energy and taxes style deck. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Um, He played this deck last year at Eternal Weekend. He did okay. I'm pretty sure he had a positive record. And he had been playing Modern, and he has practiced Modern and done okay at Modern, top aiding 3 RCQs. So he wanted to try and shift his focus for Legacy and start getting some practice in with his deck, Mono White Energy. Um, Josh was 1, 2, and 1 coming into this, and he knew that I was 2 and 2. And he said, I'm going to scoop to you, but we're going to play. And I said, yeah, no problem. Um, let's play Magic. So I knew that I was going to win the round on the off chance that I could make top eight. So with that being said, I chose to explore the range of some of these hands that I I'm pretty sure I would have more aggressively mulliganed if I needed to win. Um, on game one, we played Welder and Emery on turn one, and then we won on turn two with a combo. On game two, he's George. Should I sideboard in 11 cards against you? Um, it seems like a lot, but you're white, so you have a lot of tools. Should I board in 11 cards against you? Um, this was a hand also that I think maybe I should have mulliganed. This one for sure. Game three is maybe. Um, I draw Goblin Welder and I play it, and he Swords to Plowshares it. And then I miss my second land drop for 3 turns and then die. To small white creatures. He got Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Mother of Runes, and something else. I had to spend my turn killing a Mother of Runes um, instead of interacting with him. This is the hand that I needed to draw well and play well against because his game three hand was where he drew all of his 11 sideboard cards. Game three, I played a turn one Welder, and he played a Deafening Silence after he yeah, he plays a Deafening Silence. Then Swords to Plowshares, my guy, my welder guy. Then plays a Stony Silence. Then Wastelands my Saga. Then he Wrath. Oh, he didn't even have to Swords to Plowshares my welder. He Wrath of the Skies for one. Then he Wrath of the Sky a second time. Then he second and third Wastelanded me. Then he played two Witch Enchanters, hitting two more things. Um, and I think I gave up on turn 6 or 7 with no permanents in play, and he has two Witch Enchanters beaten down. Uh, Hung out for a couple of minutes and ended up going into 14th place. Womp womp. Um, my round two opponent, Anthony, I believe he got 9 points. We'll see in the next slide. But we'll talk about that in a moment, and we'll also talk about the recap. This was just for the rounds. We'll see you there. All right, so here's the end of the event. Um, Looks like my round two opponent, Anthony, ended up in 13th place, right in front of me. He did not win enough rounds to get up, get up to the top eight. We landed in 14th place. And where are we? Nicholas DeJean made it in at eighth place into the top eight, my round one opponent. This human being was on Eldrazi, I learned. Don't know what this human being was on. Evan was on Black White Taxes. Roland, we know for sure, was definitely is it tempoing. Good for Roland. Him and three of his friends came down to the event, and three of the four of them made top eight. And then I don't know what Ed or Alec were playing. Joe, I also didn't see. I could see him playing blue black. That's usually what I see Joe playing in his range over at AU. Although I did see him playing green white depths a little bit recently, twice. But most of the other times I've seen Joe play, it's been on blue black. Um, I waited until 10:30 to make this slide, so I'm pretty sure that they ended it at top four because I left the event at 5:20 when the top eight was starting, or the top eight had already started. I think it started at five, and I waited 5 hours, and it's still in the top four. So I'm pretty sure that they did a top four split. And congratulations for your Duel for Duels winners, Nick, Edward, Andrew, and Alec, who probably did not get enough fun bucks to get a dual land outright. So cool event. We went 3-2, kind of 2-3. Who knows what would have happened if I had been a little bit more locked into not seeing what the range of some loose hands are. I would have definitely mulliganed my game two hand in a real match that I didn't know I was already going to win. Um, so yeah, we had a lot of fun playing Magic cards, and I bought a bunch of dumb nonsense with the money that I sold my Magic cards for, and I'm going to show you what it is because I think it's cool. Um, so I didn't quite think out my placement here for this cool MRB nickel bolus Dr. Seuss shirt. Can't really see. He's got his hands parsed. It's pretty cool. And then I also got this mana symbol shirt, which is great. And Squirtle, love me, Squirtle, Dr. Seuss. MRB is cool. I've seen him before. I've known he's a thing for a while. It was cool that he was at the CEDH event so that I could give him some money for some stuff that I think is awesome. RK Post was also here, so I do love Squirtle. He's my starter of choice. I got this Squad Goals print. Um, I didn't need another playmat. I don't need this playmat. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. But I do love Squirtle the Turtle. This is up in my kitchen. And then I bought my wife this banana token. She loves bananas, and um, I don't know. I like sharing things with my family. She also loves Dr. Seuss. We read our children a lot of Dr. Seuss over the last 10 years. So she was excited to get this banana token, and it's metal. Um, she's also excited. I gave it to her in one of my sleeves that were delivered today in the mail at 1 o'clock while I was at the Duel for Duels. It's okay. I'll get to unveil these next week at BCDL, and let people know that I have a middling legacy YouTube channel and that they should watch it because I'm hilarious and handsome and thin. I also got this cool "Oh, the planes that you'll walk" sticker. I'm a sucker. I don't know. I got my son this rabbit token. He has a pet bunny, and I thought that he would really like this. Unfortunately, MRB did not have pet or guinea pig tokens, so my daughter got a squirrel. She's team squirrel. One day we're going to get a sugarcane glider in this house. My wife be damned. And then I got a blue, red, and a colorless mana floater because my deck makes blue, red, and colorless. And I totally brain farted. I don't know why I didn't get the other three colors. Hopefully, my good pal Mapson will pick them up for me. I asked him to. He's going to be there tomorrow to do the vintage 5K. Um, Curious if he ends up playing the dumb deck that he played today, which is a Nadu Welder Cam combo deck. I guess everyone else who cares about that will know by the time this video comes out. And yeah, that's everything that happened today. It was, oh, that's not everything that happened. I forgot this Grambulon guy, artist who was at the event. His art style, pretty cool. Kind of fits the vibe that I like. And I commissioned him to draw me a piece that I can use. I'm very excited to eventually be able to share it and print it. We'll make some sleeves. We're gonna make tokens. It's gonna be a construct token. I love her as a saga. It's gonna be a Whiffy Penguin construct token. It's gonna be hot. I'm gonna give it out to people, and I don't know. Maybe they'll rip it up. Maybe they'll use it. Maybe they'll love it. Who knows? So that was everything that happened. It was great. I had a really good day. I was a little disappointed that the event was only 5 rounds. I was kind of hoping for like a 7 rounder, if I'm being honest. Um, I wanted the practice for a longer event. 5 round event is longer than what I normally do. Normally, I'm playing 4 round events. So a 5 round event is definitely longer than what I'm used to, um, but not so much. I like the Valley Forge Casino. It's a quick drive, 40 minutes down the highway, basically just two straight lines. I have to make a turn once. Very nice drive. Um, I don't have to pay to get into the venue. Amazing. I don't have to pay to park. Amazing. $70 event. Maybe I'm just a curmudgeon, but I feel like that's expensive. Maybe not expensive enough though, because as I said, Excalibur events, pretty sure they took a pretty big bath on this one. And then all my opponents were great. Turns out four of them are people I know anyway, so I usually surround myself with fun people. And then my fifth opponent was also pretty cool that I didn't know. I got some cool swag and nonsense. I love graphic t-shirts, so getting these two shirts is awesome. Um, I love Squirtle, getting a couple of pieces of art, awesome. Um, and I'm excited. I'm excited to go play Buffalo Chicken Dip next week. Turns out that my roommate is going to be Mapson and Dan Atkins from the Eternal Witnesses podcast, and then also Brady Monroe from the DMV area, and also recent Pro Tour qualified player thanks to Legacy. Or maybe it was Vintage Cube. It was Vintage Cube, I think, and Legacy. I'm not sure how it did that, how he got there, but he's a certified crusher. He was on a Lauren Tell today. Also did not make top eight. Dropped pretty early to play in the vintage event with three other players. Playing Nadu, that's his jam in Legacy, but they didn't ban it in vintage. So I'm excited. That event is capped at 128 players, so it's definitely going to be a long event and not 5 round nonsense. The prize is definitely a Mox Opal with, or I'm sorry, a Mox Ruby with two Underground Seas for second place, and then a bunch of stuff down to top 16. And look, I might not be a closer, but I do generally fall in the top 16 of these larger events that I've played. Not a lot of them, but I do, 4-2 on the regular. I do a 4-2 on the regular, so I'm pretty excited. Maybe I can spike. I'll have my sleeves. I'll have some cool Magic pals with me. Everything's going to be great. I also tried out this tournament report format. I would say give me some feedback, but I don't know that I'll be able to integrate it into the tournament report for next week for the Buffalo Chicken Dip. Looks like we're going to be coming back on Sunday night after the second qualifier event Sunday morning. So I will be getting home very early in the morning on Monday. I'm thinking in like the 1 or 2 o'clock area. Um, so maybe with 2 full days. If you had comments, please leave them early so that I can review them before I do the next one. Let me know what you like, transitions, the different thumbnails as background. Do you want me in the video? Do you not? I don't know. Let me know. And while you're letting me know, hit the subscribe button. We got 2 subscribers last week from the 5-0 trophy, or from the 5-0 trophy. Mono Green birthday has not gotten any new subscribers. That's okay. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. You guys are real. Um, I really enjoy that some people are enjoying this. I really enjoy that Pebbles just got in my lap. This is my favorite pet in the house. Don't tell the others. Pebbles is my good guy. All right. See you guys next week when we talk about Buffalo Chicken Dip. Bye.